soap and water, you got rid of all the germs on Achilles' hands.
This station subscribes to the Namibia Media Code of Conduct and is regulated by the Media Ombudsman, appointed to deal with complaints about media content that breach this code. This includes content that is inaccurate, unfair, or that invade privacy. We encourage aggrieved members of the public to submit complaints to the Media Ombudsman via mediaombudsmannamibia.org. The Media Ombudsman is supported by the Editors Forum of Namibia, advocating for ethical and quality journalism.
Welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Mr. Dumi, and welcome, Clarice. Before we start with our lesson for today, let us remember to sanitize. Make sure all parts of your hands are sanitized, observing the social distance by stretching out. And our lesson for today is on estimating and measuring. Let's turn on page 23. So that's where our notes for science are. Starting, estimating and measuring. So the competencies there just to read through. Estimate and measure the height of fellow learners and the mass of school bags using the appropriate methods. The words that you need to know are height, definition of height, the measurement of something, someone, from base to top, that is the definition of height. Measuring instrument is the tool that can be used to find something. Units or measuring units, physical quantity of measure for example, meter, centimeter, kg, etc. To move to page 24, measuring the height of a person, reading through, remember to estimate before you measure. By measuring the height of a fellow learner, you use a measuring tape, which is an instrument, or a meter stick, which is also an instrument, but that should be shorter than 1 meter or exactly 1 meter. And measure also in meters, meaning when you are measuring the height of a person, it should be recorded in meters. But then you must make sure the learner measured stands straight. Below is the correct way a learner must stand when measuring the height. There is a picture or the image which demonstrate how one should stand. Then we need also to look at the instrument. We need to indicate the instrument you are using to measure. There is measuring tape, and the image shows a measuring tape. Units, you must indicate the units. You can either measure units, can be kilometers, meters, and so on and so on. How to measure the mass? Now we are using a school bag. The instrument, remember about the instrument. That can be a balance or a balance scale. The units can be kg, which is kilograms, g for grams, and so on and so on. Now I have to move to the chalkboard so that I can explain further on how to do this experiment. We have 5 words or terms that we need to stick on or we need to know today. So the estimation is the first thing we have to do. You have to guess, you have to give a better guessing. Then we have to measure the difference. You must make sure that you have to find the difference between these two values. There is evaluation, whereby you have to evaluate yourself or your estimate according to the scale which is drawn here. If it's low, that is a poor estimate. If it's at 5, then we say this is a very good estimate. We also have to look at the comments, whereby the comments obviously talk about how is your estimate related to the measure, and then that should be either poor or it should be either good. So we need to do an experiment here. So for the height first, but before we do the measure, I need to do the estimate, which is to look at her height and give a better guess. You just need to stand straight. I can see that maybe if I have to guess, I would say it's 1.5 meter, maybe. This would be my estimate. So your height maybe is 1.5 or 1.6, 1.5 meter. Must be indicated also. The unit must be indicated. Therefore, if I have my estimation, I have to move to the measurement. This is physically done, and you have to measure a person. So just stand for me. Okay, I have to use this. Stand for me, and I have to make use of a marker to mark where I have to end. Just stand straight and look forward. Then I have to put this straight, and this also straight. And I have to look if it's straight, and I see it's straight here, so I'll mark it here. Now I've made a marking on this straight object. So what we have to do is, can you hold for me there? Thank you. And I have to give you the starting point of this measuring tape. And then I have to, you can just put it on the table so that it can be straight. Make sure it's straight there. And then I have to take my reading, and this is my marking. So this is exactly 1.6. This is 1.6 meter. And then, thank you, just put this here. And I have taken the recording as 1.6 meter. And then I've done the estimate, the measurement, so I need to go for the difference. The difference is for me to find it between these two values, and I'll start with the bigger one, meters. Remember, these are meters. To subtract that, I'll have it here. Take away 5 from 6, you have a 1. I have my point, and then obviously you have a 0 here. So the difference here, I'll have a 0.1 meter. When you have 0.1 meter, if you have to look at the measure is 1.6 and your estimate was 1.5, it means I was so close to get this 0.6, I was so close to the actual value. So if I have to evaluate myself, I'll say I was very near, so I'll give myself a 4, which is near a very good. So I'll say I'll get a 4 here. Evaluation will be 4, but when it comes to your working, you'll find there's a table like this, so you have just to circle what is your evaluation. When it comes to the comment, was my estimate near the measurement? And the answer, of course, is yes. So I was so close, so I'll say this was a good estimate. So the estimate was good. So in short, you first need to make your estimate by looking at the height of a fellow learner or someone. After you give your estimate, you need to measure. Once you measure, find the difference by taking the highest value minus the lowest value. And then you have to evaluate yourself by looking at what you have got. Were you so near the actual answer, or was your estimate so far? And the last one, which is a comment, you must indicate whether your estimate was good or poor. The height is done, so we have to move to an experiment of mass. So with me, I have a school bag here. Is it heavy? Okay, so this one, I think you are going to do it. We are going to do an experiment in our measurement will be in kg or kilograms. So you have to estimate by lifting it how heavy could be that, maybe in kg. Any number is acceptable. What could be the estimate of that? Maybe 1 kg, 2 kg, 10?
I will say
8.
8.1 maybe.
8.1. So your estimate is 8.1 kg. Okay. Then I have got a bathroom scale here. So I'll put it on the table, because we are going to measure the mass of this bag by placing the bag. What is inside the bag is books, just books, by placing the bag on top of the scale to find out the measure, since we have done already with the estimation. So we can start. Okay, when it's 0, 0, then we have to place it here in this manner. That, okay, just need to see. Place it again, and then when it's 0, 0, then we put it there. What is the value there? 3.4. So it's 3.4 kg. Then to get the difference, we have the highest is 8.1. This is kg, and the measure is 3.4, which is kg. We have to subtract. Okay, of course I have the kg here. I have to get some value here. I have 7 remaining. I'll put 1 here. I take 4 from 11. Then I'm having 7. Then there's a point. Then you subtract, you have a 4 here. If you take 3 from 7. So the difference is 4.7 kg. If you look at these two values, 8.1 and 3.4, it shows that your estimate was very far from the actual answer. And in that way, if you are to evaluate yourself on the scale here, I would say your estimate was maybe a 2. So the estimate will be a 2 compared to the measurement, and then the comment will say the estimate was a bit poor. We will not say poor, but we will say the estimate was a bit poor. So you can do this wherever you are, at home, at school. First, you need to just estimate. That way you'll be able to know that, okay, I know the values, I know the units, I know the measurement, because if one person happened to estimate the mass of this bag and say it's 100 kg, then that would be a very, very below poor estimate. So I believe by doing this, one can understand and you can do it wherever you are. So now we have to go back to our booklet and do the activity. Continue with the activity on page 24. So the first question there is to measure the mass of school bag 3 times. Estimate and measure the mass of your school bag 3 times. First measurement, it must be full of books. The second measurement, you need to have the books. And the third, you must leave the bag with only 2 books. You must do this recording in the table on page 25. Moving to page 25. Number 2, why will you not use a balance scale marked in grams to measure the mass of a school bag? I'll repeat that again. Why will one not use a scale which is marked in grams to measure the mass of a school bag? You just need to give a reason there. Number 3, where must an object start when measuring its height? Where should you place an object on whatever instrument that you have to that you have to measure? Number 4, why can we not use a ruler to measure our height? Why do we have to use a measuring tape or a meter stick? Question 5. What will one use to measure the height of a building of 5 meters tall, and why? So it's asking the instrument, and why are we using that instrument? With that, I hope you answer this question in the right way, and I wish you all the best. Do your activity and take the activity to your teachers for marking. Thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson, and let us not forget to sanitize. Make sure all the parts of your hands are sanitized. Keep the social distance by stretching out and From us, it's a bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm back, and if you are scared of what you read on social media, talk to your parents and ask them the questions. They know everything. Until next time, bye!
Humanitarian crises are all too familiar to television viewers. Civil wars that cause huge movements of refugees, worldwide pandemics, and natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis. This is the way most of us are used to seeing these heart-wrenching events, on a screen in front of us, watching passively. But what if you could step into the frame and actually feel what it's like for the individuals on the ground?
People come out of it feeling enlightened and often moved and often ready to take action. A lot of people automatically say, well, what can I do? How can I get involved?
Garbo Aurora is leading a team at the United Nations who are using cutting-edge technology to raise awareness, empathy, and funds both to respond to humanitarian crises and to bolster support for a new set of sustainable development goals around the globe.
Virtual reality is the ability to really take part in a story that usually you're only a passive spectator on. And you actually get this sensation of feeling like you're being there.
By using multiple cameras that can record in all directions and software that can stitch the images together, virtual reality creates an experience that enables the viewer to see a movie from every angle, above, below, and behind.
It's exciting for the UN, to be involved in some of those early experiments of how we're trying to tell stories, make these films, and work with some of the most cutting-edge people in the industry on it.
So the UN reached out to us and connected, and we realized that there was a great opportunity here to tell some very important stories and to tell them in a way that we thought would be totally new and highly impactful. The way that I define virtual reality at this point in time is basically the hacking of your senses to convince you that you're somewhere other than where you are. Often, I think of it as a sense of vulnerability. So one of the things we've realized in some of our stories is you have a heightened sense of empathy and a heightened sense of connection as a result of that vulnerability.
That heightened sense of connection and empathy was exactly what Garbo Aurora was looking to create at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Not only to inspire leaders to take action, but also to influence donors to increase funding for disaster response efforts.
I'd started experimenting with using innovative ways of advocacy, and I started talking to a lot of different partners and people. What could we do that would be incredible? And someone said, I just came from a meeting at Samsung, and, with some of these other virtual reality headsets, wouldn't it be amazing if you got all of those elite people who could actually go to a refugee camp, or they could go to an Ebola clinic? I just really felt it would get our issues highlighted.
In addition to the screenings at Davos, virtual reality portals have been set up to view the films at high-level political forums around the world. The virtual reality film on display was Clouds over Sidra.
Clouds Over Sidra is a short film in virtual reality about a girl named Sidra who lives in Zaatari camp, which is a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan. And it is a story about a young girl who is giving you a tour of the camp, of what it's like, what her life is like. When the film debuted in Davos, it was a sensation to everyone we showed it to. They come out of it very deeply moved. I'd say half the people who watch Clouds Over Sidra cry. And then we cut a version for UNICEF, where it's face-to-face fundraisers. The way they do that is usually someone with a clipboard on the street in Europe or in different countries. So they thought, well, what if we got people to experience virtual reality on the street?
Quite sad. They don't have a good environment to stay. We try our best to help them.
Early reporting from UNICEF has shown that when using virtual reality, they've doubled the effectiveness of their fundraising efforts. This report was produced by Ben Lybrand for the United Nations.
Akili, 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 akili. Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Let's practice sneezing into your elbow. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Achoo! Again. Achoo! Yay! You did it! Germs, germs, germs. They make us sick. Germs, germs, germs. Germs, germs, germs. Are not your friends. When you're sick, you sneeze. Achoo! When you're sick, you cough, cough, cough. And if you achoo or cough on your hands, the germs stay alive on your hands and get passed on to your friends, and they'll get sick too. Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Germs, 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 they make us sick. Germs, germs, germs are not our friends. Germs, 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 they make us sick. Germs, 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 germs are not your friends.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful